Why is it that we can scroll Instagram for 2 hours straight, but studying for 20 minutes feels like climbing Mount Everest? Why do we delay starting a business idea, avoid the gym, procrastinate on important work, even when we know it can change our life? Is it laziness? Not exactly. The real reason lies deep inside the ancient wiring of the human brain. And once you understand it, taking action becomes 10x easier. But here's the twist. The most powerful solution to this problem is also hidden inside the origin of the problem itself. So by the end of this video, you'll understand why motivation fails, why your brain avoids starting, and the simple psychological trick that makes action easier. But here's the strange part most people experience, yet rarely question. At night, you feel powerful, motivated, focused, certain that tomorrow will be different. You make plans. Tomorrow you will wake up early. Tomorrow you will start working. Tomorrow you will finally change your life. For a moment, everything feels possible. But when tomorrow arrives, something shifts. The alarm rings. Your body feels heavy. Your mind feels slow. And the fire you felt yesterday is suddenly gone. A quiet voice appears. Maybe tomorrow. This silent pattern controls millions of lives. People dream of change. They want stronger bodies, sharper minds, bigger ambitions, better lives. The desire is real, but the beginning never comes. You sit down to do something important. Work, study, create. But before starting, you check your phone. Just for a moment. One notification, one video, one distraction. And suddenly, time disappears. 30 minutes. Gone. The task still waits. Unstarted. Sometimes the problem is not distraction. It's weight. The weight of the task. The effort it demands. The uncertainty it carries. Your mind stares at the mountain and quietly steps back. Later. Not now. This pattern hides everywhere. In unused gym memberships. In notebooks with the first page written and the rest blank. In ideas that live only in imagination. In dreams postponed for years. People whisper the same sentence again and again. One day I will start. One day I will change. One day I will become the person I imagine. But that day keeps moving further away. Sometimes motivation arrives like a storm. A powerful surge of inspiration. After a speech. After a video. After a moment of clarity. For a brief time, the mind feels unstoppable. But storms pass. And when the emotion fades, the old gravity returns. Habits pull everything back to where it was. And this is the deepest frustration. People know what they should do. They see the path clearly. Yet something invisible keeps holding them back. A quiet resistance. A subtle hesitation. A delay that repeats, day after day. And slowly, days become weeks. Weeks become years. And somewhere inside, a painful question begins to echo. If I truly want to change, why can't I even begin? This is not only your story, this is mine too. But this is what I changed. I have also dealt with the same problem and, honestly, I'm still dealing with it sometimes. There were days when I wanted to study but couldn't. Days when I wanted to change my life. And even days when I simply wanted to start something small, like creating a YouTube channel. But something started changing the moment I decided to take control of my mind. I stopped letting my subconscious ask endless questions like, can you really do this? What if it's too difficult? What if you fail? Instead of thinking about the entire process or worrying about the outcome before even starting, I simply told myself one thing. This is the right path. Just begin. And strangely, the moment I started doing that, I felt a kind of strength within myself. My brain slowly stopped pulling me backwards. And during that time, I also began trusting the Almighty more than ever and left all my worries and problems in His hands. And this made me realize something extremely important. Most people think motivation creates action and leads to results. But in real life, the order is usually reversed. Action creates motivation. When you start working and make even a small amount of progress, your brain releases a sense of reward. That small progress creates motivation. And that motivation pushes you to take more action. More action leads to bigger results. The hardest part is always starting. But this still raises a bigger question. Why does our brain look for motivation and choose procrastination instead of action? To understand that, we need to go thousands of years back in human history. Thousands of years ago, the human brain had one primary job: survival. Not productivity, not ambition, not self-improvement. Your brain was designed to conserve energy, avoid unnecessary effort, seek immediate rewards. Because in ancient times, wasting energy could mean death. Humans needed energy for things like hunting, escaping predators, surviving harsh environments. So the brain evolved to save energy whenever possible. And that same brain still exists today. Dopamine and rewards. Your brain releases dopamine when it expects a reward. But here's the problem. Dopamine prefers instant rewards. Things like social media, gaming, chatting, short entertainment. These give your brain quick pleasure with very little effort. But things that actually improve your life usually give delayed rewards, such as studying, exercising, building a skill, starting a business. So naturally, the brain chooses the easier dopamine source. Relatable example. Imagine this. You open your book to study, but suddenly a thought appears. Let me check my phone for just 2 minutes. Your brain predicts that the phone will give quicker pleasure. So it pulls you toward it. There's another reason the brain delays action. The brain tries to avoid things that may cause mental fatigue, failure, uncertainty. So when a student sees a difficult physics problem, the brain predicts, this might be difficult. And immediately, avoidance feels safer. Think of your brain like a phone on power-saving mode. When battery is low, the phone automatically shuts down heavy apps. Similarly, your brain tries to shut down mentally demanding tasks to save energy. Studying, working out, or building something meaningful all require effort. So the brain resists them. But here's the interesting part. If the brain is wired this way, how do some people still manage to stay disciplined and take action? And more importantly, how can you train your brain to stop procrastinating and start moving forward? The answer lies in working with the brain, not against it. And that's what we'll understand next. So ask yourself one simple question. What is the smallest step you can take right now? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Comment it below. Backhand index pointing down. Let's start together. Rocket. Now that we understand why the brain avoids starting, the next question is simple. How do we actually overcome it? Luckily, there are a few simple but extremely powerful techniques that make taking action much easier. And here's the interesting part. The fourth and fifth techniques are surprisingly powerful and can completely change how you approach work, study, fitness, or even starting a business. Let's begin with the first one. Technique 1, the 5-minute rule. Tell your brain something very simple. I will do this task for just 5 minutes. Not 1 hour. Not the whole chapter. Just 5 minutes. And something surprising happens. Once you begin, your brain usually keeps going. Starting reduces mental resistance. The hardest part of any task is starting, not continuing. Think of it like pushing a heavy car. The first push requires the most effort. But once the car starts moving, momentum begins to help you. But sometimes the problem isn't motivation. Sometimes the problem is the environment around you. And that brings us to the second technique. Technique 2, environment design, friction reduction. Instead of relying on willpower, design your environment so that good habits become easier. Keep your books already on the desk. Keep your phone in another room. Keep gym clothes ready the night before. Keep your laptop open for work. Humans are heavily influenced by visual cues. What we see around us shapes our behavior more than motivation does. If distractions are nearby, the brain follows them. But if productive tools are nearby, starting becomes easier. Now, even with the right environment, one problem still remains. Most people still think, I need motivation first. But that's actually the wrong way to think. And the next technique fixes exactly that. Technique 3, the identity trick. Instead of saying, I want motivation, start saying something much more powerful. I am the type of person who starts. Because real change doesn't come from goals. It comes from identity. Instead of saying, I want to study more. Say, I am a disciplined student. Instead of saying, I want to go to the gym. Say, I am someone who takes care of my health. Your brain naturally tries to behave in ways that are consistent with your identity. When your identity changes, your actions start aligning automatically. But there is one final step that makes all of this even more powerful. It's something that takes just a few minutes every day, yet it can completely transform your consistency. Technique 4. The Daily Reset Rule, with the future you exercise. Every night, ask yourself 3 simple questions. Keycap 1. What did I do well today? Keycap 2. What distracted me today? Keycap 3. What will I improve tomorrow? Reflection builds self-awareness. And people improve faster when they analyze their actions regularly. But there's an even deeper layer to this. Before sleeping, ask yourself one powerful question. What would my future self thank me for today? Imagine the future version of yourself. The successful version. The disciplined version. The version that achieved the goals you dream about today. What would that version of you want you to do right now? Study. Work. Start. Take action. Here comes my personal favorite and most powerful exercise, that is. Technique 5. Habit stacking. Very powerful. Instead of creating a completely new habit, attach it to an existing one. After brushing your teeth, read 2 pages. After dinner, revise notes. After waking up, do 5 push-ups. Existing habits already have strong neural pathways in the brain. When you attach a new habit to them, the brain accepts it more easily. But there's one final idea that completely changed how I think about motivation. Motivation is emotional and emotions fluctuate, whereas discipline is practical. Motivation waits for the perfect mood. Discipline starts anyway. And the biggest myth people believe is, one day I'll feel ready. But the truth is, you don't feel ready before you start. You feel ready after you start. So today, don't aim for perfection. Open the book. Send that email. Work on that idea. Start messy. Because the future belongs to people who don't wait for motivation. They create it through action. Rock it.